Hey guys, I'm Ace Clubs Kid, and today I'm going to be doing a review for Pacific Rim. Okay guys, so I just saw this movie recently, a few days ago, with my girlfriend, and I got this poster, because I guess that is a promotion they're doing. I'm not sure if all theaters are doing this, but that's kind of cool. Came with, just when I saw the movie, they gave me a free poster, so that was pretty neat. When I went to see this movie, I knew nothing about it, and I just knew, like, okay, there's something with robots, and they fight, and, something like that. I didn't really know anything about it. And I was just like, okay, well, everything else doesn't really seem that interesting to me. I know Lone Ranger isn't very good. I didn't really want to see Man of Steel. And so I decided to see this one. Now, initially, when I saw this movie, I really didn't like it. After kind of thinking about it more and watching some reviews, I sort of got a different side of it and changed my viewpoint. Initial thoughts on this movie were that the characters aren't very interesting. They're all very stock characters. We have the smart Asian girl, we have the determined guy who has a kind of a dark past, we have sort of almost the jock character who's overconfident, we have the really, like, over intense kind of army general. Like, everyone can really be described in very simple terms. We have, like, kind of the geeks that are really obsessed with, like, the mathematician, and we have the guy who's obsessed with kaiju, which are the aliens. Now, to summarize the basic plot of this movie, what happens, without giving any spoilers away, this is going to be a no spoilers movie review. How it starts out, there are these kaiju. These are these aliens, these humongous aliens. They're just huge. And they basically are able to come up to Earth through a portal, which is at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. And they just basically wreak havoc on the world. No one knows really what to do with them. And basically, all the world's big powers kind of come together, set aside the differences, and they create these Jaegers. And a Jaeger is just a humongous, it's about as big as the kaiju. It's a huge robot, which are controlled by two people, two pilots. I won't really even give away why there's two pilots or anything, because I think that's, it's not a huge explanation. Don't, hold your breath for it, but I'll just let the movie speak for itself in that respect. But anyway, so there's two pilots. They control the Jaegers, and their job is to take out the kaiju so that they can't destroy the Earth, basically, as kind of cheesy and simple as that sounds. And on that note, I think this movie is very simple. I am more of the kind of person where I really like movies and TV shows and things like that, where I can kind of think about it more, and, as I think about it, I kind of get more details, and I kind of grow a respect for how the characters benefit the movie, the emotional side of it. I think that's what's really important to me as a spectator, but that's really not what this movie is. Like I said, the characters are very stock, they're very simple. For me, there was some moments where, I was just watching the movie, and I was just like, oh my god, that's just this isn't giving anything away. There's this one scene where the kaiju nerd he goes to knuckle the mathematician nerd, and the mathematician doesn't even put his hand in like a knuckle to fist bump with him, and he's just shakes his hand awkwardly, and I'm like, oh my god, you can't be that stupid. It's trying too hard. Excuse me if there was any noise there. I just adjusted my mic. But yeah, there's just really for me, just looking at it from that respect, where I'm used to kind of overanalyzing things, to give you an idea, my favorite TV show's House. So I like analyzing things and really kind of getting into details, and if you do that, then this probably isn't a movie that you'll really like. In my opinion, I think this is a good movie. I did enjoy it. In hindsight, I think it was pretty interesting. I was definitely, though I may not have admitted it before, I really liked some of the scenes. It was pretty intense. You like just watching these huge things kind of battle it out. I think that's kind of a what this movie's about. It's not really supposed to be super interesting characters or all that much else to it. It's just it's a cool story. There's nothing that's too huge plot hole wise. There was one thing which, once again, I won't give away. There was just this one of the main characters, and she keeps getting held back, and I don't really understand why that is. If you've already seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about, but if you haven't, I don't think that's really giving too much away. In summary, I would recommend seeing this movie. and I think it's good. I think one thing that I will cover on before I finish this review is a lot of people are comparing this movie to Transformers, and I don't blame them. I think that's, it's kind of the only thing you can really compare it to. There's not a whole lot of, big, like, robot type smashing, just destruction movies, with huge monsters and stuff like that. There's kind of like Godzilla, Transformers, stuff like that is what you can relate it to. In my opinion, this film is a lot more enjoyable than Transformers. It's a lot. Though the characters are still lacking, I still think that they're almost more well established. They're, like in Transformers, there's this really, I'm gonna use the word it's supposed to just look badass. It's just supposed to look super cool. Like every time they transform, you're supposed to go like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, but with this movie, it doesn't try to be too like amazing. It's not trying to go like, oh yeah, this is a really kick-ass moment, or like this is really awesome, or like this is just the coolest thing ever. Like it's just like this is what's happening, this is what we're doing, and that's kind of like it doesn't celebrate itself too much. So I think that's definitely good. It makes the movie more enjoyable. It doesn't distract from itself. It doesn't have an ego. Is really the best way I can describe it. The movie doesn't have an ego. It's not trying to be more than it is. It's not trying to say that these characters are all absolutely the most interesting thing you've ever seen, and watch the movie because of that. In that respect, I'm going to give this movie an 80% out of 100. I give it not a 90 or 100 because like I said, the characters aren't too well established. So that was a bit of a loss for me. It wasn't as interesting. I would have liked to personally see more of the emotional side. I mean, when you have these huge things kind of ripping everything up and just like wreaking so much destruction, there's a lot more that they could have done developmental wise with the characters. But still, that's just not the style of the director. It's a good movie. I recommend watching it. And yeah, if this is your kind of movie, I'm sure you'll love it. And if it's not your kind of movie, I would still recommend seeing it because there's quite a lot of really interesting visual effects. And it's a cool movie to watch. You don't really have to think about it too much. So it's good in that respect. With that, I'm Ace of Clubs Kid. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.